Welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise with Ronald Assas and myself, Mohammed Abdurrahim, coming to you away from the Ministerial Palace in Nile in the heart of Cairo. Egyptian conductor composer Hisham Gabr was assigned to supervise the artistic and cultural activities of both Al Ministerial Palace and Kulthum Museum. Maestro Gabr was awarded France's Order of Arts and Letters. He was awarded le Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres, joining such big figures such as Naguib Mahfouz and others. Born in that was of course in recognition of his contributions to the development of Egypt's cultural scene and work to link it with that of France. Born in 1972, Gabr graduated from the Cairo Conservatoire, where he studied flute under Professor Ines Abduldaim, the current, of course, Minister of Culture. He has composed music and conducted concerts in Egypt and internationally, and also served as director of the Bibliotheca Alexandrina Arts Center between the years 2014 and 2017. And time now to introduce him to you on this edition of Nile Cruise. Maestro Gabr, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
A very good day, Mr. Hisham, and it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Nile Cruise. A very young age, sir. You were born in 1972, although your biography is very stuffed, and of course it's very of great pleasure to have you with us today in today's episode. Sir, what are your plans to develop the cultural activities of these two institutes which we previously Mohammed mentioned?
Actually, the place has a very big legacy. Started with the International Music Center that was founded by Mr. Ramzi Yassa. Ramzi Yassa is one of the great Egyptian pianists that has an international reputation. And he founded this International Music Center here in Al-Masterli. And it was bringing international musicians from all around the world, and it was going very successfully until 1 or 2 years after the revolution, and then it stopped. And now we are reopening the activities in Al Ministerial Palace and Kulthum Museum. And we're very hopeful that we are going to bring back the reputation and the quality that was presented here before, and hopefully we're going to have a even bigger success and a broader spectrum of arts. It's not going to be only music. There is going to be classical music, there is going to be oriental music, there is going to be one Thursday a month Kulthum concert, like the old tradition of Kulthum herself. We're going also to have cinema screenings, we're going to have lectures, seminars about all spectrum of culture and art. Art mainly, and we're very hopeful that this place will be another an excellent center of arts and culture in Cairo.
So when should we expect the official inauguration and all of these activities, Maestro Gabr?
We're going to inaugurate the place in 15th of November, next Friday. We're going to have a press conference at 6 o'clock to all press and TV and media. And it's going to be followed by the opening concert at 8 o'clock with Amira Slim, soprano, and Pascal Rosé, piano. And Amira Slim is a very, very, very successful international soprano. We're very, very proud of her, and we're very happy to have her in the opening act. And it is going to include arias and leads from French and international opera tradition.
Right. Sir. Rana, go ahead. I was going to ask Maestro Gabr about the famous artists that he learned from, whether in France, in the US, where you studied as well, or in Egypt? Tell me about the famous maestros and artists in general that you learned from.
I learned from many people. I learned from each and every conductor that I watch him even. And you never stop learning. And actually, the conductor is one of the very, very difficult works that because you get absolutely no criticism from your coworkers. So it's very easy that you start having bad habits without noticing. So that's why a good conductor has to be always aware that he has to continue learning and continue listening to criticism from friends but mainly the conductors that I studied with is Maestro Christoph Müller. He's a Swiss German conductor. He is very well internationally known. He is one of the students of Claudio Abbado, which is one of the greatest conductors ever lived. Also, I had learned and studied with Chris Kim in the United States of America. And many others. I studied a little bit with Maestro Ahmed Al-Saidi as well. So I studied with many people, but mainly my main two teachers were Christoph Müller and Chris Kim.
Maestro, of course, is a composer. You composed music for film, theme, and theater, and musicals. The latter genre includes such productions as Praxa and Ibn Battuta, which you received widespread, of course, acclaim for them. How is composing for cinema a unique mission, and what does it take to make a good music for films?
I'm so sorry.
What does it take? What does it take you to do good music for films?
First of all, it takes a good film. It's very important that the film itself has to be good. Of course, the music has a very good advantage that you can make your job as good as possible regardless of the quality of the film itself. But of course, working for a good film helps a lot. Also, time. The problem that we face in the cinema production when it comes to music, that it comes usually with a very squeezed time. The production starts with the script that they can work on for 2-3 years, and then they shoot in 2 months, and then they edit the movie in one month, and then they want you to make the music in 2 weeks, and then they make the final mix in 5 days, and the more you go towards the deadline, everything gets more and more squeezed with time, and that's our main challenge. Plus, of course, the budget. When you have a good budget, then you can
How do you feel, sir, when you're composing films like Ibn Battuta, which you really witnessed in such films, and Praxa?
Ibn Battuta is a musical. It's a theater musical.
Theater music.
Well, it's Ibn Battuta was something that I'm really proud of. Proud of being a part of it. It was such a big production. We had an orchestra from Poland. We had a ballet company from Bulgaria. We had the choir from Lebanon. We had also Egyptian Oriental musicians, and we had really big production. It was like 250 people on stage. Eventually, when you're conducting something like that, so you have huge amount of people that you have to direct and real time. It's not like in theater you direct and then let them work. So you direct in real time. It's a very challenging job, but it's also very rewarding.
Right, Maestro, the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres is awarded for remarkable achievements in the field of arts and literature. It was established in 1957 by the Ministry of Culture in France. So tell us, what is the importance of this award for you? It must be very special. And why do you think you received this very distinct award?
It was such a great honor, of course. I feel very humbled, but that they chose me for such a great honor to be Chevalier of Arts and Literature. I am so far. I'm the youngest Egyptian who ever had this medal. And I think it is because usually the criteria is that they give you this very big honor either because of your artistic productions that is special, or that your efforts to spread culture and art in the society. So I think, I don't know, because it's classified something. I never know why they chose me, and I never knew why they chose me, and I never knew on what criteria, but I think it's a mixture of both.
Maestro Hisham, you recently conducted a musical night dedicated in the memory of the legendary, of course, Dark Nightingale, Abdel Halim Hafiz, and it was held in Lebanon. What was the criteria for choosing the songs you played over there, and what was the technical challenges that you faced?
Well, it was the criteria was based on so many factors, because we had it was a cine concert. It was a cinema concert. 1 year before, we had in El Guna Festival, we had a night to tribute to Yusuf Shaheen's movie and works through music. So I made a whole rearrangement of all the music of Yusuf Shaheen, and we presented with a live orchestra accompanying the movies, parts of his movies. And that was something that really the Baalbek International Festival, they really liked the idea. And because I did 1 year before Kulthum concert in the same place, they wanted to do a cinema concert of Abdel Halim, because Abdel Halim, I think he is the most famous singer/actor in the history of Arab cinema.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we wanted to take advantage of that. We wanted to take advantage of his very important legend and history in this area. And we did something that we had an edited parts from his movies, and it was going in sync with the live performance of the orchestra. I made a complete reorchestration of his songs.
So tell us some of the songs that you chose.
Songs mainly was, of course, movie songs.
Right.
And we were choosing them.
We want to know them.
Yes. Yeah. And we were choosing them based on do we have the rights for those movies or not. Some of the movies we couldn't have the rights for it. And anyways, so we chose 2 from Abi Fawq al-Shajara, Gana al-Hawa wa زي الهوا هوايا. We had 3 movies from معبودة الجماهير, جبار, بلاش عتاب, and حاجة غريبة. We had several others. It was 12 songs, and it was huge success in Lebanon, and hopefully one day we'll do it in Egypt.
Yeah, and I mean, you can do it here, right? You can do it.
I'm open for suggestions. Nobody asked me to do it.
I mean, you can do it at the Ministerial Palace.
No, it's
At the
huge. It's huge. The Ministerially will not take the orchestra only,
Okay.
not the audience.
So you need the opera house then.
We need at least the opera house because there in Baalbek it was 4,000 audience. So
Wonderful.
it's a very big production. Was yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yes.
Now, Maestro Gabr, tell me about your years at the Biblioteca. What do you consider as your major achievements when you were leading the center there, the cultural center there?
That is a question that I shouldn't answer. Maybe others should answer, but I will say.
Maybe you could tell us about the challenges.
Just
the
the
challenges as well.
statistics. I will give
Yeah.
you statistics. The orchestra has doubled in number at this time. And the orchestra turned from a chamber orchestra that plays very, very small repertoire that turned that we are playing the most and the major works of classical music. We did the Ninth Symphony of Beethoven. We did the Carmina Burana, huge works. And of course, before that, the orchestra absolutely couldn't do this. We had revived the Biblioteca choir. A choir reached 200 singers when I was there. When I first arrived, there were 25 singers. It reached 200 singers. I initiated the Cairo Cairo Tales Festival. The Jazz Tales Festival. It was initiated when I was there. It's still on till today. I'm very happy with that. I also initiated the International Contemporary Theatre Festival that had 2 rounds, but unfortunately after I left, it stopped. It was bringing people from 15 countries every year. Theater performances. We had revived the summer festival in the Biblioteca. It started. It was completely stopped, and then when we started, it was 22 events. Next year it was 35. Next year it was 50, and then right before I left, it was 69 events in 6 weeks. And this is considered the biggest festival in the whole region. So, that's more or less, yeah.
Sir, you previously conducted a ceremony for the memory of Kulthum, of course, in Lebanon. What is the special relation that you have with the songs of Kulthum?
My relationship with Kulthum is very, very interesting, actually. I grew up with a complete 100% Western education in music. I liked mainly classical music. I liked Western music. And by the time I reached 40, something changed. And I was catching myself listening when I was in a cafe or something. When you're listening to Kulthum, I started, I like that. But it stayed like this until I was commissioned to do this concert. And I had to study a lot Kulthum, and then ever since I'm a dervish of Kulthum. I'm a follower and a fan, and really, really, for me, this is the most important figure of music, of Oriental music that ever existed.
So out of Abd al-Halim Hafiz, Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Kulthum, your favorite is Kulthum.
Kulthum is my favorite of all Oriental music. Yes. yes.
Okay, sir. What is the effect of the audience on the performance of a musician?
Sorry?
The effect of the audience on the performance of a musician.
It has a huge effect, and that's what makes the live performances so much better than the recordings. Because a recording is like a photograph of a painting. It's a snapshot of what really happened, and to be affecting and getting affected by the audience. Every audience is different. and if you played to the same audience twice, you'll have different feedback. And it's a matter of chemistry. And
You must
well,
have a favorite audience.
well, I have to say that the Lebanese audience are very, very, very enthusiastic and give so much positive energy to the artist, and it's very good to play for them.
Where is the place, sir, that you perform in, that you find yourself relaxed and you find the audience interacting with you and you're really happy while you're playing?
Where?
Where?
Where? I would say Cairo Opera House. I like Cairo Opera House is my home. I would say my second home, but actually it's my first home. It's now the place that I'm living in is much newer to me than the Cairo Opera House. It's been I'm in Cairo Opera House since 1992. It feels good to have good performances there, and it feels like home. Also, I would say Lebanon and Muscat.
Muscat?
Muscat, yes.
Oman.
They have a
Oman.
huge opera, beautiful opera there, and I'm always
Wonderful.
happy to perform there.
Maestro, you are keen to blend Western and Oriental music. So talk to us about this secret recipe, if you will.
Yeah, actually, this is something that I find that I'm so involved in, and I'm really advocating this. And actually, I'm being invited frequently to Europe to talk about my experience in blending the Oriental music and Occidental music. Actually, the Oriental and Occidental music they have different different
Beats.
aesthetics. They have different aesthetics. Sometimes they collide. Sometimes they go together. But the best way to find what's in common is to go back in time, where the two musics were closer, and that's why I composed a piece Symphonie Concertante called to a New World. It's for a guitar and oud with the orchestra. And it was, for me, it's something that has the same, it's two instruments that had the same origin, but they developed in different ways, and they were talking to each other. So I'm really involved in this blending the Eastern and Western music, and I always try not to squeeze the arm of one to
the
the other.
expense of the
Yeah,
other.
yes, exactly.
Maestro Hisham Gabr, wrapping up, of course, today's episode of, now wrapping up this segment of Nile Cruise, internationally renowned Egyptian composer and conductor at the age of 47 years old. You're acclaimed and you headed and presided many posts that we all mentioned throughout the interview. How could you accomplish all of this at this young age?
First of all, I thank you to say that 47 is a young age, but I think I just I try to work as hard as I can, and you do what you can do, and you hope for the best.
I want to wrap it up, Rana, with one more question, please. And Maestro, how do you see classical music or music in general as beneficial to the soul and to society at large?
Well, classical music is really heavily and deeply embedded in the culture that we are using each and every day without even noticing it. In even all the black and white movies of our huge culture and heritage of Egyptian cinema, you'll find many of them using classical music, and it became so iconic that we really related between this piece and like panic feeling, or this feel with the, so it is really heavily embedded, and it's a kind of music that really elevates the soul and it is what made Egyptian music great is that the great musicians were listening to classical music. Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Said Darwish, Kulthum, all of those people were going religiously to the opera house each and every week, and that's what made their music different. If you have no input, you'll have no output.
Internationally renowned Egyptian conductor and composer, of course, assigned to supervise the artistic and cultural activities of both Manastirli Palace and Kulthum Museum. Maestro Hisham Gabr, we thank you so much, sir, for joining us in today's episode of Nile Cruise. Of course, it was a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much, sir.
The pleasure was all mine, and thank you very much.
Viewers, this is all for this edition, for this segment of Nile Cruise. Stay with us, and you have coming up a report about the Ministerial Palace with our colleague Sahar Talawi and, of course, Mustafa Hanafi. Stay with us and don't go away.